All right, everybody, welcome. This is a first, baby. For the first time since I've been doing YouTube, I'm in another room. I'm in a studio room, baby. / garage. We're just going to call it the room. I don't know. We'll come up with a really good nickname. Make sure I want to make sure you guys can hear me. We do have predictions in chat already popping up. Make sure you guys tell me your prediction. Let me type out a poll here. Hogs will win. What do you guys think? 8+ this year? Question mark. There you go. Mike is good. Okay. Yeah, I did some test streaming over the last 48 hours. You guys like that graphic right there? Isn't that beautiful? Let's do this. Let's go. Let's start off the year, baby. 3, 2, 1. Yo! Oh, wow. To you guys, this isn't much, but this is a whole new room. So yeah, check out. We got the goods. I don't know if I can swerve my camera around here. I tried to get as much as I could in picture, but I may switch off to another camera. I've got a backup camera. So again, there's going to be some technical issues here and there. The background's not going to always look like that. I got some lights I'd like to throw up back there. I'm not an expert when it comes to all this stuff. I just do the best I can. First off, I want to say make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. You guys say I'm sounding good. That's awesome. That's good. Sound is good. I'll have to come back and rewatch and, make whatever necessary adjustments that are needed. But yeah, man, I'm digging it in here. It's interesting because for the first time, I don't have a television up top. I have a flat screen to my left. All my consoles over here. Like, man, I really wish I could just show this off, but it's such a pain in the ass adjusting this camera. Yeah, got a whole new setup here, a new rig. This is the first time I'm live streaming on the new PC. Again, shout out to Patreon supporters. You guys have helped make that all possible. All right. You guys are giving. All right, so here's the poll. Hogs will win 8+. You guys, 74% of you are saying yes. 74% of you are saying, yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to do that. They're going to win 8+. Okay. All right. I'll give you my prediction. We're going to talk a little bit about Western Carolina. Not a lot about Western Carolina. We're not going to do a deep dive on these guys. I'm going to be real with you. There's not a ton of information about them, and especially with how the transfer portal may have affected them. We just don't really know what we're in for. This is going to be one where we're just going to have to, take it all in after it all happens. Of course, post-game show, the most lit post-game show out there, baby, happening here few minutes after the Razorbacks, after the game is over. 12 p.m. kickoff down in Little Rock. All right. If you guys want to become Patreon supporters, listen, we were getting up there to 60, and then, of course, we dropped. We're not close to 60. We had some people not re-up their subscription this month. I really wanted to break 60. I don't think we're going to do it. But if you guys want to show some support, I'm not going to lie to you. This was costly. This move in here was costly. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead, Travis Ford and the boys. Put in my new door, which is 2 inches thick. It's like it keeps a lot of sound out, which is awesome. And most sound in. It's hard because I'm loud. It's hard to contain this. It's hard to contain all this. Shout out again to my wife help to make this all possible. My neighbor Alex, my God, he dropped it. He helped me drop. So I'm running off of Ethernet cord that's attached right into my modem, and he helped drop the spots so where you could do that. So he had to climb his ass up in the attic for like 2 hours And you guys know how hot it's been, and you know how hot an attic can get. The attics are burning up, and this was like 2 weeks ago when he did this. It was probably 120 degrees up there. God bless Alex, my neighbor, good dude. He helped make it possible. So I'm not running off Wi-Fi. I'm running straight off my fiber optic modem. Again, it's not possible. It's also not possible to do any of this without Patreon supporters. And, of course, like I already mentioned, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. I don't have their ad pulled up. So that ad that you saw earlier was one that I actually put together that's in Discord. But you can see the work they did. It's really cool. You can see what they did to my garage door, how they replaced it and a little bit. It's only like 15 seconds long. I put that thing together. I would like to do a little bit more work on that. Also, shout out to our other sponsor, the Odd Soul Craft Bar Pizzeria, located in Springdale off of Emma Street. If you come up to town for a football game or basketball or baseball, you need to circle the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria. Fantastic pies, IPAs, local stuff on tap, all that. We got people commenting in Woo Pig Suey ATX 50 says 48-10, but that was in our Discord. He's not commenting in the live chat. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, please, if you're new here. Okay, video looking crisp. Have you been modeling? Well, I haven't gotten a haircut, so I got the locks up and back. All right, yeah, Florida. Let's start there really quick. Did you guys watch that? I was in here working. I was having trouble because I've got some other speakers I wanted to connect. I couldn't get them to work, so I'm using these cheap, I don't know how much they cost, like $10 Logitech speakers. They're terrible. They're awful. But I was messing with my sound, wasn't really able to watch the game, and I was doing some other stuff on my computer, trying to make sure everything was – I was up late, y'all. I mean, I was busting my ass trying to make all this work. I didn't get a chance to catch much of that game. I saw a little bit. Utah wins 24-11. I know a lot of people, it's real easy to shit on Florida right now. It's real easy to do that. We got to remember, this is a pretty good Utah football team. Florida's got questions. Napier is on the hot seat. I think it's at least warming up. But this was on the road. Last year, Florida won this thing down in the swamp. They can beat teams they have no business beating in the swamp. We know this. And Arkansas might find out the hard way. I'll let you know. That'll be towards the end when I give you guys my prediction. But Florida, listen, Mertz threw for 333 yards, 31 of 44, threw a touchdown and an interception. Florida ran the ball just 21 times for 13 yards. Both defenses honestly looked pretty good. I thought Florida, what little bit, again, I was off and on trying to watch it. Again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched the whole game because I certainly did not. I got to watch like chunks, like maybe a failed drive, which there were several for Florida especially. But if people are really shitting on Florida, like, dude, they just went on the road, played, had 9 penalties for something like, I think it was 75 yards, turned the football over. I don't think Utah had a single turnover. Florida looked rusty, but like they didn't bring their best game and still only lost 24-11. Now, to be fair, Florida got, I think, the most of their points in the fourth quarter later on. Florida, let's see, Utah was up 17-3 at one point. No, 24-20. Yeah, okay, so they had 24 before Florida could score their 8. It certainly did have that feel like this game is probably over. Again, that was one of those drives that I caught towards the end where you could tell, like Utah, like it felt like it was over for them. Bryson Barnes, 12 of 18 for like 159 yards with a touchdown. He ended up with a quarterback rating of 76.3. I'm not saying that like we shouldn't be laughing at Florida, but let's not sit here and act like Utah isn't a good football team. And I know we're supposed to look down on the Pac because of all this stuff going on off the field. Actually, the Pac last year, pretty good conference. I'm not going to lie to you. Not bad. I'm just going to say that. Not as bad as they had been. So I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to look at this game and say, well, there's your evidence. Florida's going to be absolute shit this year. Although I do have them as absolute shit this year. I do. I think I've got them at 6-6. And they've got a number of toss-up games. And, Florida has talent. Let's not sit here and act like they don't have talent on their roster. They do. They're Florida. They're supposed to. USC, San Jose State was gross. USC is not the number 6 team in the country. I'm sorry. I could care less about Williams. Williams, we all know, doesn't put those kind of numbers up if he's in a Big Ten or in the SEC. He doesn't put up those kind of numbers. And it's not like he set the world on fire either, but they did win 56-28. San Jose State looked a little spicy on offense. I just don't think USC is the number 6 team in the country. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, and then we had Minnesota. We had Minnesota and Nebraska. Boy, that was kind of a heartbreaker. I don't know if you guys got to watch that or not. Minnesota won in the final minutes. I did catch the end of that. Minnesota wins 13-10. Matt Rule. I mean, Minnesota's going to be. They might be pretty spicy in the Big Ten this year, but that's going to obviously put them at 1-0. And Nebraska, Rule's going to start off his time at Nebraska 0-1. Rule's a quality coach, man. I don't know if he's the right guy for the job at Nebraska or not. He's turned some unlikely programs around. Maybe he could do it at Nebraska. It's just a different era of college football, and I don't know that Nebraska will ever touch the Osborne days. I don't think so. Maybe Rule's the guy. Maybe he is. But some defensive football for sure, especially with, obviously with a score that low, right? Again, take the poll. Hogs win 8+. 81% of you say yes. 81% of you say yes. Florida defense was decent. Their offense was atrocious. I think a lot of that, though, like Utah secondary, they got everybody back. They got that 6'4" corner, the Ole Miss transfer. I forget that kid's last name, but I remember he's like 6'3", 6'4". Like, they got a lot of pieces back in the secondary. Utah's defense could be pretty good this year. Again, I don't know that I'm walking away from this game judging Florida too harshly. Again, I don't think they're going to be that good. I think they're going to be lucky to get to 6. Their ceiling might be 7, maybe at best, if some things turn around. I don't know. With the rest of the pack teams going to the ACC, the pack is officially gone. Yeah, no, they're done. They're done. 7. So Spawn Quest Gaming says 7 or less wins puts Pittman on a very warm seat. Interesting. I am going to tell you guys, I'm still battling these allergies, man. A week later, I'm still fighting them. I'm fighting the good fight, though. Utah even had 2 players line up with the same number. I didn't catch that. Of the same ball at one point. I'm not ridiculing, but everyone historically underestimates the Utes. I feel like that must have happened when I wasn't watching the game. We're getting scores. That's the other thing I want. Give me your scores. View mix. I don't know that I've ever seen you comment here. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate your take here. 55-7. ViewMix has Arkansas winning 55-7. Florida has serious offensive line problems, says Paul. Hey, we had a super chat. Jumpmaster Scott, the Tuss Talk with Ty hat will be on the move again next week. There we go. Florida has a Chad Morris on their hands. Ooh. Eagle, wow, 63-21. 63-21. Aiden Bowen says Razorback marching band headed down now. There we go. Trying to get up here, get caught up. Again, if you guys want to join Patreon, the link is available. Fishman, 65-14. How are we on predictions here? Okay, Bumbles _bounce says 8-4+. Ramon Scheisse says 8-4. Ross Henry says 8-4. We got anything else? Aaron Harbison says going at least 11-1 for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. Beer Talk is on the negative here. Beer Talk's a 7-5 at best. Oof. Ooh. Yeah. Hey, I hope you guys are here for the post game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. They're always a blast, man. They're always a blast. Paul Raymond says 9-3. TK Hogg. What's up, TK Hogg? I think I recall. I think I've seen you in here before. 38-17. Dylan Sharp, 40. Oh, there's a score, 45-10. En route to a 10-3 season. He's going to include the bowl game there. All right, Dylan. Okay, Dylan. Settle down, giving us your bowl prediction. Who they playing in your bowl game, Dylan? Aiden, yeah, I caught you, buddy. Razorback band headed down. Yep, I read that already. Matt, what's going on, brah? Remember that in the late 90s? Everyone said brah. Jumpmaster Scott, 40-20 Hogs. So you think their defense is going to give up 20, okay. Shaheed Mustafa says 35-21. We go 9-3 and beat Utah in the bowl. Charles Bragg, 63-10. Okay. Well, again, keep giving me your scores. I'll try to go back and read them. Yeah, Jump, I saw your – thanks for the DM. I saw your super chat. I got you, brother. Let's talk about what I want to see against Western Carolina. Kind of questions, if you will. Obviously, I'll give you my prediction when I'm done with all this, when I'm done with the just the questions. And not only are these just for Western Carolina, they're for the whole season, right? They're for the whole year. These are the things I want to see all year. But let's start off on the right foot against Western Carolina. Let's start off on the right foot and let's answer some of these questions. I think they probably will at least get a pretty good idea on some of these. Number one, flags. Flags. How many are thrown on both sides of the ball? How many flags are thrown on both? How often? Last year we saw this, the year before last. It happens all the time. Everybody's got to deal with it. It's about limiting those big plays that could have been bigger or could have happened to begin with had you not messed around and maybe you held. It was too obvious. You held, and they had to throw the flag. Whether it's on a receiver, offensive lineman, tight end, whatever, running back, blocking in the backfield, trying to help out his quarterback. How many flags does this team got to deal with tomorrow? I saw in fastball, and I don't know if they caught these on film. I'm assuming they did. I saw in fastball when I was at fall camp, you had some guys holding. That weren't getting called. I don't know that this is something that they addressed. I'm sure they did. We know in their first scrimmage, it didn't surprise me when Sam Pittman came out and he said, "Yeah, we've got it. We had a lot of flags." It didn't surprise me. I sat here and told you guys about it. I talked about it with you guys on live, and I think I mentioned it in some of our Discord chats. I'm not saying it's going to be huge, like it's a big red flag. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I think this team's going to have that issue with flags, but it is certainly something that kind of like reared its head a little bit through camp. Not often. Not enough that anybody was really writing about it. No writers were, and it was nothing where like I was typing out on my phone, oh my God, they've got issues with flags. But it was something that kind of stood out. And it's always something going into every year you kind of wonder, like, is this going to be a team that gets a lot of flags or maybe not even a lot of flags? It doesn't have to be 8, 9, 10 penalties, and then it could be like sometimes those happen in junk time, right? When you've got a 4-score lead, when you're up 28 points in the fourth quarter and you get some flags. Okay, it's key moment flags. It's 3rd down and 5, you pick up a Rocket Sanders outside zone, a 6-yard run outside zone, and outside zone run, and a tight end or a right tackle, Kutas or someone gets a hold of a jersey, and now you're going backwards. It's a key big play that happens downfield. I feel like that happened at times last year. Boy, I got to get used to this. Okay, we're going to have to push you back. There we go. So just something to keep an eye on. That's all. How do all the new pieces, and again, you could say this for both sides of the ball. I'm starting with the offense, by the way. How many of the new pieces, like how do they look? What was the number of amount of new people? It's like 40-something new pieces to this roster. Unbelievable, kind of turnover. You're curious how they look on both sides of the ball. How does good Lord. You know what? I thought I had this fixed. So just all the new pieces, do we see them out of place? Maybe Snacks is out of play. Walcott, maybe Walcott's he looks a little lost. Maybe he gets beat because he's a little bit confused on coverage. He's a little bit confused on a call from the sidelines. Maybe the communication's not happening. Those are the things that you kind of keep an eye on. The same could be said for up front. Joshua Braun, who's a transfer, who I think I know we have a depth chart out, but sometimes you got to take that with a grain of salt. But he's expected to start. How does he look? There's just some things. Of course, the receivers, are they blocking downfield or and this is all stuff we may not even really know the answer to even while watching until after we hear Sam Pittman talk, until we hear him talk, until we hear some of the players. You got a chance here for to start off fast. You remember last year, the opening quarter? I can't remember the average. I think it was like they averaged less than 7 points in opening quarter for a good portion of the year. Maybe Dan Enos can get them started off a little quicker. And here's your opportunity, right? Western Carolina, you should. Are quarterbacks and wide receivers on the same page? Who does KJ seem to favor? My guess would be either Armstrong, Haas, or Tisla. Of course, those are kind of obvious, but again, it bears repeating, I certainly feel like that's okay to point out the obvious because it may not even be the three of them. It feels like it's the obvious. Hell, it could be, it could be Centennia. Maybe he just explodes onto the scene. How do the tackles look? And how often is KJ pressured due to the offensive line, struggling a little bit? How often is he pressured? How often is he having to – because they're going to drop back. There's going to be drop back. It's not going to be all RPO. You're going to see a lot of pistol. You're going to see probably some play action mixed in there, but you're going to see a little bit of – at least maybe not drop back, but you will see a little bit of that because he's going to line up under center. So that's a little bit different than when you're blocking almost 24/7 out of the RPO. And if a quarterback wanders too far and an offensive lineman doesn't really know what the hell's going on behind him, it can result in a hurry. That's not the offensive lineman's fault, but it's just something they have to be aware of. But how often, if he's lining up under center, if KJ's lining up under center, how often when he drops back is he getting pressured? Is it something where like the pocket's collapsing around him all the time, where all of a sudden you're forced to run the RPO more than you probably want to, or more than Dan Enos is comfortable doing? Although watching Maryland film, he shouldn't have an issue with that. I think you're going to see a good mix of the two, of kind of your standard old school football. You know what I mean? Just like even if you're in shotgun, maybe a little bit of play action, or you're going to run just straight to the other side of things with the RPO. And the RPO can kind of help with if you're getting issues with pressure, now that the defense has to second guess what KJ is going to do. So how often does he get pressured? How many sacks does Arkansas give up? Wouldn't it be nice to start off against someone like Western Carolina? Like it feels like it should be the standard going into year 4, where you're playing someone like this or a Kent State and you don't give up any sacks. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. Not saying that one is like unforgivable. Things happen. Sometimes there's miscommunication. 2, it's like, all right, it's game 1 rust. And then you start getting up to 3, 4, and it's like, okay, there's something going on. either something they didn't see with Western Carolina and what film they had access to. You know, we know the personnel change now is bigger than ever, bigger than it's ever been because of the transfer portal and immediate eligibility given those windows, right? Sometimes there's going to be things that you just didn't catch. Or is it simply a talent issue? And those are things we'll have to address as we go week to week. Okay. Last but not least, and there's so many more, like we could talk about who behind Rocket is the leading running back. Is it A.J. Green? Is it DeBinion? Ignore the depth chart. Ignore it. Who's getting the most carries behind Rocket? There is that question. There's also the question of if Arkansas can get a big enough lead, how soon do we get to see Jacoby Criswell come in? Maybe we get to see the freshman, number 23, Augustive. Maybe we get to see him. There's all kinds of questions, right? But sticking to just kind of what we want to do here, this is a question that I've had since Kendall Briles or since Dan Enos was announced as the offense coordinator. How effective can they be in the red zone? Because last year we could point to several games where maybe it was just Sam Pittman rolling the dice. Maybe it was execution on the field. Certainly a tight end taking a snap under center was – I don't know what that was, but had it worked, it would have been genius, but it didn't, and you look really silly. But how much of it was all those things, right? They were not effective in the red zone last year, guys. They ranked somewhere in the 70s or 80s. Going into the Kansas game, I think they were like 89th in the country in red zone effectiveness. After the KU game, obviously I think that number went up a little bit, but they were they were not good in the red zone. How many more games do you win if maybe you decide to kick a field goal? And what can that do for the momentum of the game? Let's say it's early in the fourth quarter, right? Or, you know, some of the decision-making, some of the execution on the field. How many just goofy things happened in the red zone against these guys last year, and it just came back to bite them in the ass later in the game because of the lack of red zone effectiveness? How many more wins does this team a year ago have if they were, let's say, in the 50s in red zone effectiveness? Now, there's also the other side of that, which is how many red zone attempts. Like if you're getting an incredible amount of red zone attempts, and it's kind of natural to believe, well, then their effectiveness is going to drop. When you're looking at like just percentage points, they're going to take drops because they have more opportunities. That wasn't Arkansas' situation, right? This was not an elite offense last year outside of what they could do running the football. They could run the football very effectively, but they were still issues. They just, I don't know if it was execution. I think it was a little bit of everything. Coaching decisions, you know, just play calling and you know, penalties, things like that. So that's kind of that's my roundup question there for the offense. Again, how much more effective can they be in the red zone? I would certainly love to see them do what Enos did at Maryland last year, which was somewhere in the top 25, if I recall, in red zone attempts. But different league, different schedule, different set of players, obviously different scenario altogether, but you would love to see them be somewhere in the top 25 in red zone effectiveness. And I think Enos can maybe carry that over with him, but we don't know until we know, right? All right. Let's see. Scroll up here. Boy. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Rhett says 42-14. Tajuan Porter says 52-17. We're getting some scores here. Johnny Jones is predicting a 12-0 season. Loving the graphic. Which one? Are you talking about the new one there on the top, I'm assuming? Yeah, I like it too. Rhett says 7-5. Have low expectations to see 9-3 season. Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, they did win. They went 6-6. They lost games they had no business losing. We can sit here and talk about A&M. Arkansas is better than A&M. They were last year. They were. A&M. Although they had some head scratching moments last year, like good ones for them, but overall they weren't. They just weren't a good football team. I don't think. Could they beat Kansas? Could they beat KU? Maybe. I don't know. If they brought their A-plus game, maybe. I just don't think they were better than Arkansas. I don't think they beat Kansas. I really don't. With that quarterback, Arkansas had got a taste of him. Beer Talk says, I've gone over it many times. I want to be positive, but the offense will be worse by the time the defense gels. It'll be too late in the year. I mean, you could be right. I don't know. Cody Blasco says, if our defense wouldn't have choked against Bama last year, we had Bama beat. Says Cody. That new rule is going to bite a lot of teams. Wait. I think our strength coach is going to be the difference in the red zone this year. We just couldn't out-tough anyone down there. That's a really good point, Chris. Chris Bales with a very good point. I wish I could like pin. Oh, I can pin that message. I can pin that. There you go. That's a good one. Check that out. We can unpin. When did that happen? Yeah. I think you're probably right. They did. They got out physical down in the red zone. They got out physicaled. That shouldn't happen. And it did. Had no business happening, but it did. And you would think with a team coached by Sam Pittman, there's no chance, right? Year 3, no chance. They're going to be fine. And they lost some line of scrimmage battles down in the red zone. They certainly did. Oh, boy. Do you think we have a shot against Bama this year? Because I heard Bama might be down. Oh. I almost, because it's my job, I'm going to have to touch this game. But if I didn't have to touch this game, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. At least the Alabama conversation. What the hell is going on with Alabama at quarterback? Is this a Nick Saban bullshit screen? Like, oh, no, we don't really know who our quarterback is. Actually, we've known all along. It's Jalen Milroe. Or Tyler Buckner or Ty Simpson. I don't know. I don't know what's like it. I want to say if you removed the Alabama name and you told me what was going on there and I didn't know who any of these players were, but you were like, yeah, here's what's happened. Okay, they lost their quarterback. Okay, the receivers, what do you know about their receivers? Yeah, they brought in guys like Jalen Hell and Benson and so on, but they've got Burton back, Brooks is back, Bond is back for them. But really overall, they're this is they don't seem really electric, and yet there's still this understanding that Alabama is Alabama. It's a whole, I don't know. But had you put UCLA as this team, what would you put their schedule? What would you put their? Or no, that's not fair. We got to go SEC. Who's mid? Let's say it's Florida. We'd probably say, well, okay, these guys are talented, but they haven't announced a quarterback. I think I read, and I don't know if this is true or not, but for the first time since Nick Saban was at Alabama, he didn't put out a depth chart on Monday. Was that right? And if so, what the hell? They've had quarterback controversies before. Let's not sit here and act like they haven't. But for Bama, it's like, yeah, which 5-star are we going to go with? You know what I mean? But still, even knowing that, if this were anybody but Bama, you'd probably put them at 7-5 or 8-4. Florida has talent. We see teams all the time with an abundance of talent, 4 and 5 stars, and they go 8-4, 9-3. And look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is loaded to the brim every year with top 5, top 10 classes. And yeah, they're going to always be behind Bama. I get that. Bama and Georgia and Ohio State, Michigan kind of in there lately. They've done a pretty good job recruiting just in terms of their on-field development. It's been really good under Harbaugh. But, yeah, okay, those teams set them aside, sure. But, again, if this were anybody else, the national media would just say, I don't know. A lot of questions, 8-4. But Nick Saban is the freaking X Factor every year. He's the X Factor. They've made changes in their coaching staff. Like, it's – I don't know. They are an anomaly this year. And, again, the transfer portal has made this so much more difficult. They have arguably the best corner in all of college football. Kool-Aid McKinstry. That dude, he's going to be the first corner, more than likely – going to be the first corner taken off the board. They're going to probably have 3 first-round draft picks, and they're going to be just like, with that, right? I don't know. I could go on. That is a hard game. It's a hard team to figure out. We'll get to that. Let me finish up. On defense for Arkansas, here are the questions. Who emerges as an absolute – hang on. My nose is stuffy. It's hard to pronunciate. Who emerges as an absolute pass rush monster for Arkansas up front? Really, it's more of a defensive line. Like, you're going to go with a 4-man front. You're going to have 2 rush-ins, 2 bigs in the middle. You could squish them in tight. You could spread them out. Well, that sounded kinky. And now I'm getting text messages. But you can do all sorts of things with this defensive line. They've actually got depth, and I'm going to say it's quality depth in the interior. It's quality depth in the interior. That's what's going on there. I like Jackson. I don't know. Zach Williams and Stewart are 2 guys I'm waiting on. I'm still waiting. I'm like, okay, when are they gonna do the thing? You guys have been telling us for years they're gonna do the thing. They're gonna be great. I'm not really seeing it, but there are other pieces here. Torrin Carter. Torrin Carter's gonna be. This could be a year for him where he bounces back from injury and just blows up. Kind of has that final just great year that we've seen other players do in the past. Eric Gregory, Cameron Ball, Kelvie Rose, Brooks. The Maryland transfer. There's a couple other names in there. There's going to be some younger guys that play. There's going to be some guys we've not really talked a lot about play, maybe work their way up the depth chart. The interior part of this defensive line, and it's weird to say this, but it really could be the strongest part of this defense. I think I graded them out at like B+ when I did my grade. It was either B+ or A-. Like, I really like what's going on with the defensive line. Jeff Coat could be huge for this defensive front. Linebacker, you've got Christopher Paul, Jordan Crook, Thomas, Brad Spence will be in there a little bit. I like the linebackers in the secondary is still a question mark for me. Okay, next question. How aggressive is this defense, assuming they show their hand against Western Carolina? And again, that's for the rest of the year too. How aggressive is this defense? The new pieces in the secondary. We already talked about Walcott and Snacks. They got some guys that have been here for a little bit. Hudson Clark maybe running with the 2s. May have gotten passed up. But there's a lot of new pieces, not even just in the secondary. We already mentioned Jeff Coat on the defensive line. But how does the secondary adjust? They will not finish. And I'm not going to say I'm going to shave my head because my wife will, if she's watching this, will kill me. I might shave like the middle part of my beard. I don't know. They're not going to finish in the 120s. In fact, I think I'm going to guess somewhere in the top 75, somewhere in there. That's a pretty big gap, but there's going to be, and I said this last time we all talked when we were here, this is going to be the most improved group, maybe on the field, period, for Arkansas, no matter the side of the ball. But I still think they may still struggle a little bit. They're going to give up big plays. And then that leads into the final 2 questions. How many 15-plus yard plays are they going to give up against Western Carolina? How many big plays, 20, 25-yard plus plays, are they going to give up to Western Carolina? Are they going to be a bend, don't break because they're trying to be so aggressive? But yeah, if they're going to be aggressive, if they're going to send 6 5, 6, maybe even 7, 0 coverage across the secondary. They're going to give up some big plays this year. It's going to happen. But they're doing it because they want to make big plays. There's not a bigger confidence builder for a defense when you're getting in the backfield. Man, I'd love to see them just absolutely disrupt. Like, people, I think sacks are an overblown stat. They really are. To me, I look at, like, if we celebrate sacks, why don't we celebrate TFLs like we do sacks? Every play you make behind the line of scrimmage is big. But then not only that, the thing that you don't see on a stat sheet that we should see more of, how many QBHs, how many quarterback hurries? Can they disrupt the timing between the quarterback and his targets? Can they do that consistently no matter who the opponent is? And can they do that with just bringing 4? Can they do that with just bringing 4? A lot of questions. I think we're going to see a turnaround. They're going to be lower on sacks this year, but I wonder if we're going to give the secondary all the credit in the world when I think at times we should be looking at the defensive front and how much they're disrupting the timing between the quarterback and his target. I think that's what we're going to see unfold. And unfortunately, it's not going to show up in the stat sheet. It's just something we're going to have to acknowledge when we see it. And also, again, I don't want to completely shit on the secondary. I made a couple people mad when I said I think they're going to suck. Listen, when you're in the 70s, which I think they're going to end up being, even in the 60s, maybe even in the 50s, that's not a good defense. That's a sucky secondary, I should say. That's not a good secondary. That's a sucky secondary. But last year, they super sucked. They were horrible. The worst ever. Dare I say worse than the Chad Morris years. It was bad. It was so bad, dude. They super duper sucked. I think they're just going to kind of, they suck, but they turned it around. So I know that triggers people, but that's just that's me. You guys know me by now, I would hope. I'm just going to tell you what I think. I hope I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, and I'll admit it. Hey, they were great. No one's going to be more excited about being wrong than me when I'm talking about something when it involves the Razorbacks, when I say, yeah, they're going to suck in this area. But again, I don't think they're going to super suck. They're not going to super duper suck. They're not going to super suck. They're just going to kind of suck. Hopefully not. And again, if they can imagine the turnaround, like the work that's been done on Sam Pittman's behalf and hiring the staff, bringing in maybe my favorite new addition, Woodson, from a top secondary at Florida State to Arkansas to help him kind of orchestrate the changes, kind of lay down the blueprints. It's not an overnight fix. Although, in this day and age, it might be because of the transfer portal. All right. Singletary. Singletary is going to be good. Yeah, Singletary is someone to keep an eye on. Yeah, that's another newbie. Former 5-star. Hit the like button. Yeah, please do. Please do. Mullet. I might do a mullet. I might. Paul says, I mean, they won't jump the best secondary in the SEC. It's all about baby steps. Yeah. Beer Talk says the defensive front is 7 out of 10. The secondary is 4 out of 10. And I think that's fair. Right now, we don't know. Singletary did stand out to me in camp. He really did. I like that kid. I like him a lot. He's going to have some freshman moments this year. He's going to give up some plays. And if he doesn't, oh, my God. Right? Okay. Wow. 46 minutes. We got all that out of the way. Now we got to talk about wins and losses. All right. If you haven't already, make sure you let me know. Take the poll. You guys are saying, 83% of you are saying Arkansas is going to win 8+. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. If you're newski. We have 5-star Singletary from Georgia. Yep. They do. Cody Blasco says, we are not going to suck in the secondary. Okay. I mean, I guess it just depends on your definition of suck. I think they end up probably in the maybe low 70s. Maybe they get into the 60s. I would say that sucks. I would say, that sucks. That's me. Maybe your definition of suck is like 80s. Oh, no, they finished in the 80s. No, they're going to be fine. Teach their own. I'm not real thrilled with being in that area, but they may not. They may be top 25, baby. But again, it's something to, like I said, we're going to see some unsung things happen where I think the defensive front's going to really help disrupt the timing between the quarterback and his receiver. Okay. I think 8 wins is how they finish. This Tristan Turner. What's up, Tristan? How you doing, man? Our defense shows up, we'll be just fine. Yeah. Man, I like aggressive defenses. I'm not going to lie to you. Here we go. Let's do this. Western Carolina, Arkansas will win this game. I've got them winning 47-14. The prediction, by the way, will be available. Don't forget, those of you who are in Discord, the Tuss Talk with Ty Discord, we're doing our XP cycle final wheel spins tonight. We're going to do 3 spins worth 100,000 each. All 3 spins tonight. If you've never been in on one of these wheel spins, you've got an opportunity to get 100,000 XP and finish maybe in the top 10 or top 5 in final rankings. So that's tonight, 6 p.m. Be there. 300,000 XP being handed out in Tuss Talk with Ty Discord. The link is provided for you down below. The reset for the brand new cycle will happen immediately following or sometime tonight. I'll let you know, but I think it's going to be immediately following the third and final wheel spin. And then we'll reset, and we're going to have prizes for the top 3 in this next cycle. For the next cycle, it might be something pretty cool. It might be, I don't know, maybe I don't know. I got some really cool. I got Darren McFadden. I got some cards here. I don't know, man. I might just send you whatever. I might just send you a 5-hour energy and tell you, hey, you need to show a little bit more energy in chat. So here you go. I don't know. What else could I send you here? Oh, maybe a spare PS5. No, I'm not going to do that. Those things are expensive. You kidding me? All right, let's do this. Western Carolina, Arkansas gets the win. Kent State in Fayetteville, home opener, the real home opener. I'm sorry, Little Rock. I have a love-hate relationship with you, but the real home opener happens against Kent State. Fayetteville's home. I don't know what to tell you. BYU. Okay, this is interesting. BYU, I think, could be salty this year. And again, I'm not going to go super deep into all these teams. I'm really not. We went a little bit longer than I expected on the first part, but I kind of thought this would be an hour-plus show. So BYU going to be salty. They're going to come in. I think they want revenge. I don't think they're real thrilled about what happened when Arkansas walked into their home stadium and beat the shit out of them. But I think Arkansas wins. They should start off 3-0. And I'm going to tell you, if you struggle with any of these 3 teams, that might be somewhat telling if they can't fix whatever it is that caused them to struggle to begin with. You're not getting a real challenge until you play BYU. But I think Kent State, you should be favored by, God, I don't know, 24, 25 points, only because we know, Sam's going to sub, his twos on defense. He's going to sub his twos on the offensive line. I hope we get to see Jacoby Criswell at some point. I think we will in at least one, if not all 3 of these games. I think Arkansas is probably going to blow BYU out, but I'm not going to give scores on those games until the Friday before. At LSU, okay, we're 3-0. Arkansas should be ranked at this point. You would imagine being ranked somewhere in the top, right behind like 28, 29. I think what's the AP? 29th or 30th? You should be 3-0 depending on what happens in front of you. You ought to be ranked. Now, LSU's interesting. I went on Mark Rogers' show and I said I'm not buying in on the hype of them being, and I should have been more clear about this, I don't put them on the Ohio State, Georgia level of like eliteness this year. I think those 2 are the best 2 teams in the country. I don't think LSU's there. I do, however, think they're not far behind those two teams. I do think they're probably going to win something like 10 games. I do like LSU to beat Arkansas in Baton Rouge. And you remember what happened last year. KJ wasn't there. Still should have beat him in Fayetteville, but that was in Fayetteville. Baton Rouge is something else. I've never been, but I know people that have gone to multiple games down there, and they'll tell you they've been there when LSU was good and when LSU wasn't so good, and it's still the toughest place in the country to play. LSU's going to be hyped for this game. I'm taking LSU. Okay, now we're 4-0 or 3-1. Sorry, we're 3-1. Texas A&M. Was it last year that I took A&M because I said some bullshit's going to happen? Was that not last year when I said that? Like, you're better than them and they still beat you. You're better than them, not all the time. Maybe, at least 2-3 times in that span of 10 years they're beating you. You win the 10th matchup, so you're 1-9 against them in 10 years or whatever it was. But before that, you had a win streak against them, but that was the Petrino era. A&M is something else. This is one of those coin flip games I struggle with. I don't know how the Petrino Jimbo Fisher thing's going to go down. I really don't. It is a tough game. It's Bobby Petrino a chance to get revenge from being fired, and it's an opportunity to last year he came into Fayetteville and he gave him a game with what kind of talent? I mean, those kids, some of those I don't think could start at Fayetteville High. And he walked in here and he made that a ball game. And now, again, this is where that dynamic between Jimbo and Bobby, I don't know what to expect. But I feel like if Bobby has full reins of that offense, and we all know that he doesn't. But if he does have more say than we think that he does, and they're all on the same page, A&M could beat Arkansas. And they could do it. But I'm taking Arkansas. I'm taking Arkansas to beat A&M. I just think, I don't know. It's a gut feeling. It feels like with Pittman, it's going to be a little bit of a back and forth. Last year you should have won. Had you not fumbled the ball in the beginning of the game, KJ, who knows how that game would have gone out. I just don't know what to make of the Jimbo Petrino thing. It is a coin flip. Okay, it is my coin flip game. LSU's not a coin flip. I like LSU to probably beat Arkansas. I don't know. Maybe it might be a close game for a little while, but LSU kind of, wins by 10, 12, 13. A&M is a coin flip. I would give Arkansas a small margin of victory, but I'd still give it to them by an edge. It's almost like I flipped a coin and that was my pick. No, I'm kidding. But it does feel like that. At Ole Miss, here's another coin flipper. This is another one of those where I think Lane Kiffin and Sam Pittman are trading blows. I am taking Ole Miss. My confidence in that's very low. I do like Jackson Dart. I do like Judkins. I liked a little bit of what I saw from Dart last year, but I like Judkins. I do think he's special. We'll see how Arkansas's front seven responds to someone like that. It's going to be a whole new look for Arkansas up front on the front seven for the most part. No Bumper, no Drew Sanders. It's a whole new look, but they're going to have a forefront, and that could be something to keep an eye on against Ole Miss and Judkins in that run game. They can run the ball. They certainly did last year. I'm giving Ole Miss that, but it's another coin flip that I don't have real high confidence in Ole Miss winning that game, but I'm going to give it to them, kind of like the A&M game for Arkansas. So what are we at here now? We're 4-1, 4-2 at Bama. Here we go. It's at Bama. I just can't take Arkansas and Tuscaloosa. I can't do it. I do agree. There are certainly some red flags here for them. It all feels like smoke and mirrors. Like Saban is the X factor. I'm going to give Bama. Don't even ask me like a score because we haven't seen enough. Mississippi State at home. You win that. It's unfortunate for Mississippi State. I think they could have been pretty good this year under Leach. Rest in peace. But I do think Arkansas wins that game. Could be a pretty physical game. That could be a game that, I don't know. A part of me thinks it'll be physical, but Arkansas should win by a couple of scores. I could be wrong. All right. So, Western Carolina win. Kent State win. BYU win. A&M win. So right there, you're 1, 2, 3, 4-1. Ole Miss lost 4-2. Alabama lost 4-3. Mississippi State win 5-3 at Florida. Arkansas is going to win this. Florida's not good. I said 6-6. This might be a coin flip, but really it doesn't feel like it should be. But the only deciding factor here for them is, well, it's at Florida. It's Gainesville. Neutral site or in Fayetteville, I wouldn't even hesitate to take Arkansas. Gainesville does trip you up a little bit, but I like Arkansas here. I like Arkansas to win that game. Auburn, I'm taking Arkansas. I had a conversation with someone last night about Hugh Freeze. I do think he's a very good football coach. Arkansas fans know this, but I like Arkansas there. Florida International, I'm taking Arkansas. Mizzou, I'm taking Arkansas. Ladies and gentlemen, I am taking Arkansas to finish 9-3 with an opportunity to win 10 games. With an opportunity to win 10 games in their bowl. I love the work they've done in the offseason. Sam Pittman feels as confident as ever, and that's a guy that undersells and oftentimes over-delivers. He's selling. He likes this team. You could tell when he talks about them. Last year, you could say that he did, but I think you could see a little bit of doubt in his face. I don't see much doubt when he talks about this team. Now, he's someone who tempers, he calms down the expectations, but I think he's really bought in. I love what I saw out of these receivers. Oh, my God. I like what I see. Now, that's practice, right? If the receivers are not on par, if they're not up to snuff, if, Luke Haas is all, just all kind of talk. He's a freshman after all. I can't hold that against him. If none of these tight ends turn over, if the tackles, these new guys outside are not doing their job, if KJ's pressured a lot, yeah, then you're going to fall. You're going to fall down to, I don't know. I think the basement for Arkansas probably is something like 6-6. And I'm not taking that off the table. I'm not. I said ceiling was 10. I've got them at 9. I think they finished somewhere in between there. I was at 8. I was at 8 for like 2 months. I couldn't come off of it until the end of fall camp. And I just liked what I saw. I really did. So, again, your losses are LSU, at Ole Miss, and at Bama. Those are your losses. Arkansas, 9-3. There you go. That's where I'm at. Florida gets 3 wins. That's it, says Mike. And then, oof, I just don't think they're going to be any good. What's up, Freddie Kruger 85? How you doing? What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. I was pondering 8 till I saw that Florida game. Yeah, Florida didn't do much last night to make me feel any better. I'll tell you that. Jalen Milroe got named the starter for Bama game 1. Did that just happen? Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, I feel like they've known that all along. I'm not buying it. I think this is Saban being Saban. I really do, man. Did they just announce that? Or was that something I missed? I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's, as usual, it's been nuts, but my motor blew in my car. So I'm borrowing a truck. Shout out to Travis. I'm borrowing a truck, but it's been a crazy week, man. Yeah, okay, they just announced that Jalen Milroe will be QB1. He's athletic. I like Jalen Milroe, man. I feel like that was the plan all along. I really do. Pittman job will be on the line. He has to have a good year. He will have those boys ready, says Cody. There could be some of that. I don't know. Like, if you finish 5-7, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of heat. If you make another bowl game, though, I mean, I told you guys back in 2021, he just bought himself like an extra 3 or 4 years with that 2021 season, considering how bad things were. So there you go. I got Arkansas 9-3. The Razorbacks 9-3. My strengths, I don't know, man. I really like what's going on with the interior part of this offensive line. I think it's arguably one of the best backfields in college football. I think it's arguably the best quarterback-running back duo in college football. These new receivers just kept standing out. Now, again, I will admit I've had questions about the secondary. I've called that out. I still think The blueprints are there for them to have a huge swap. 120s to the top 70, top 60 overall yards allowed rank. I think they're going to see a huge night and day shift in the secondary. I think their front four, their front six, with the depth that they have, the quality depth, because we all know that it matters, they've got it on the defensive line. I think they do. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be elite against the run. I'm not saying they're going to be elite as a pass rush. I'm not saying they're going to be quarterback hurry monsters, but I certainly think they're going to be on the doorsteps of those things. I think they're going to be on the doorsteps of being at least really active in that front six, front seven. I love the changes in the secondary. I loved all the hires, including the new tight end coach. I already talked about Woodson. I like the idea that you got this young defensive coordinator that's hungry, wants to attack. You could get burned. Total defense, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, man. But I like the direction this team is heading. It's in the right direction. So I've got them at 9-3. Again, I had them at 8-4, and I've had them at 8-4 for like the last 2 months. But I just, here lately, I've been thinking long and hard about it. And Florida was certainly at one point in time a big coin flip. It still probably is a little bit of a coin flip. It's a coin flip. We'll just call it that because it's Gainesville, and that's the only reason why. I don't think Florida is very good. Again, they might be 6-6. Their basement really could be. It could be 4 wins. Their ceiling, simply because of their talent and because of Gainesville, their ceiling could be better than we all think. I have no idea. I'm not going to put a number on it, but yeah. What channel is the game going to be on? It is on SEC Plus. So if you have if you have access to SEC Network, you should be able to catch it on any of your streaming platforms. So yeah, 9-3, man. It might be on the high side. It might be, but I don't know. Last year I walked it back from 9-3 and I went to 8-4 when fall camp ended. This year I did the opposite. So we'll see. We shall see. I appreciate the retweets. Have you guys been watching the Arkansas Razorback football videos they've been uploading on Twitter? It's nice. It's good stuff. QDM, baby. That's right. Chris G says, I'll be there. So, just rub it in our faces, Chris. Rub it in our faces. 83% of you agree with me. They're going to win 8+. 83% of you. Love your show. Hey, Mason, I love you. I said it. I'm not embarrassed. I love you. I'm happy, baby. All the bullshit that's going on with the allergies and my car, my motor blowing up in my little car, all the just swamped with all the stuff going on in this Hudson household. You can't hold me back from football, baby. I'm ready. It's here. It's that time of year. Ring the bell. Ring it. We're here. Oh, it feels so good. I don't know why I opened this 5-hour. I'm going to wait to drink this 5-hour because we got more work to do today, boys and girls. We got more work to do. No, Ty, we love you always. How many years does Tesla and Armstrong have? So I think they both technically have another year of eligibility. I don't quote me on that. I think they are considered 5th years though. Play the hype video on stream. Oh, I shouldn't I? I think you're right. I think I should. So we'll probably do that as we exit this bad boy. We're at an hour 6. Again, a lot of goals for this team this year. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if they don't win 9, that's disappointing. No, not true. 6-6 would probably be. That would be disappointing. Year 4, that would be disappointing. 7-5 would be disappointing. I kind of feel like 8+ is where they need to be, and I think Sam acknowledges that and he knows it. Yeah, they have an official hype video, but they put out so many. Is this the Hogs are back? Let's play this one. Now hold on. Because I'm on a new computer, I don't have my share screen option up. Damn it. I can't play the video. Shoot. I can't flip my screen. Hang on. Don't give up. Never give up. Yeah, I did not add share screen option on this OBS. Media source, is that how you do it? No, it's not media source. Delete that. Man, I'd love to play that for you. I'd love that to be the how we end this thing. Is it window capture? Is that how you do it? Oh. Hold on. I think I found it. I think we got it. Oh, baby. I think we got it. Here we go. We could flip this thing around. Let's do it. I think now don't judge me here. Okay, so there you go. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? What happens when I boom? See, now this is what happens when you don't. Because I hadn't planned on sharing my screen today. Is this where we want to be? Here we go. Let's make sure the audio's on. Desktop audio. Okay, I think we're good. Let's do this. Hang on just a second. All right. Let's hope you guys can hear this. Let me pull up my phone so that way I can monitor chat. They just put this out. They just put this video out. Bum 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 ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Okay, here we go. Tell me you guys can hear this. I hope you can. Here we go.
The off season isn't the same for everybody.
Yes, we got time.
Some use it as a break and a chance to relax. It's the time that no one's watching when it would be easy to quit, easy to take a rep off. But some use it to get better.
We got to show them from the first breath we are the University of Arkansas. That's what we got to do.
And this is Arkansas. We're not going to be outworked by anyone. We're motivated by our teammates, by our coaches. We're motivated by the legacy that legends who came before us left. We're motivated by the people of this proud damn state. And by a desire to win is unmatched by any of us. We've been through the early morning, the late night, the grueling practices. And now, we're ready. We've waited 248 days for this season. For this moment. Our time is now. It's time to let the world show. And it's time to let the nation know. Here comes
Arkansas. The nation is going to be talking about Arkansas. Arkansas. How the hell is Arkansas? Arkansas. That's going to make them talk about us.
Oh my gosh. Let's go, baby. Woo! This time tomorrow, kickoff. An hour and, well, it was hour and 13 minutes ago. Tomorrow. This time tomorrow. It's going down. Oh, baby, that was great. Let's go. If you're not hyped, you're not into football. You're not a Razorback fan if you're not through the roof, man. You're not a fan of this sport if you're not through the roof. I hope you guys have a great Friday. I hope to see you if you're a Discord member tonight, 6 p.m., 300,000 XP being handed out off 3 wheel spins. We do the new cycle reset tonight. You guys have a good freaking weekend or good rest of your Friday. And I'll see you tomorrow in the post-game show. Let's go, baby! Yeah! Go time! Woo!